Hey Dharma Circle, Swati here, the embodied Dharma coach. I'm going to call you out today with the intention of calling you in. So those of you who are wanting Dharma, want to fully live and embody a life of Dharma, which is the purpose of your soul, we've got to be on top of this soul avoidance. These soul avoidant behaviors are costing you the nourishment that your soul craves, the contentment that your soul craves. So I want to invite you to notice if any of these behaviors sound like you, and I'm going to give you some steps to take to overcome this soul avoidant behavior. So first of all, let's acknowledge that soul avoidant behavior keeps us in patterns and disempowerment. And there are a lot of ways that soul avoidance can look, but I also want you to be really mindful that there is a trauma response underneath these behaviors, and it's usually trauma connected to power. So if you have had experiences or painful traumas around power, people in authority, people in power positions, this includes caretakers, parents, even siblings, you want to be mindful that there may be some soul avoidance showing up for you. And soul avoidance keeps us in these patterns and this story of when it happens, then I'll believe it. So when I see it, then I'll believe it. When I'm clear, then I'll start. When I deserve, then I'll receive. When I have the money, then I'll invest. When I know for sure, then I'll commit. So this energy keeps you in avoidant and disconnected states. And this is a real problem when it comes to the purpose of our soul, because we're talking about being visible, being seen, heard, and also integration and balance between spiritual and material. So Dharma is both. It's spiritual and material success. And so most of the women that I meet are extremely adept at their spiritual work. But when it comes to stepping into their power, being visible, heard, noticed, making that 6-figure plus income, there's avoidance. There's a resistance to stepping into power and being in the actionable steps that get you the results that you want. So this is going to look like staying unclear. I'm not clear, therefore I can't take action. I can't move forward. I can't be in my power fully. These are the people that are saying, I need more time. I always need more time before I can be ready. That is a soul avoidant technique to never be ready and to not be in your power. There's a fear of making wrong choices. That is another soul avoidant technique to stay out of your power. Of course, any numbing agents or numbing behaviors, this is a disconnection with your first chakra, and anything that is keeping us disconnected from our body and our own body wisdom, soul avoidance. Remember that your physical body is also spiritual. It's both. And when we look at a Jyotish chart, we're looking at the sun, which is the light of your soul, and that which this soul wants to express in this lifetime. And the sun is both your physical body and your spiritual body. So if there is a disconnection in the body and you're not able to show up for the body fully, or you're numbing on some level, this is soul avoidant. It's soul avoidant behavior. And it's keeping you disconnected from your power and your purpose, your full self-expression of your light, the light of your soul. If you ghost rather than having that challenging conversation, hey, that's a reminder, avoidant behavior. And you're not showing up for your power and you're not in your power fully. So let's be mindful of that courage that it takes. And here is another one that I see spiritual, gifted, creative women doing all the time. I can figure it out alone. I don't need help. I'll just do it alone. But you've been doing it alone for years and nothing's changed. You still haven't achieved the results that you really want and that your soul is craving. And my reminder to you is that the dharmic path has always been done with the guidance of a guru or a teacher or a seer or someone who has walked the path in some way, knows how to walk this path, and can continue to shine light on your darkness. So if you are trying to walk alone on your dharmic path, you're not going to be successful. And this is a trauma response. I'll just walk alone. I can do it alone. I don't need help. I don't need support. I'll figure it out on my own. This is a trauma response. And trauma is a big reason why we have this soul avoidant behavior in the first place. So I'm calling you out to call you in. Notice if you have any of these signs of soul avoidant behavior. And I'll give you some solutions today and some next steps. But it's so important that we can be aware and mindful of our avoidant tendencies. This is avoiding the light of your soul. Remember this, that contentment and the nourishment that you crave on a soul level is impacted when you say, no, I'm going to stay in the shadows. I'm going to stay mediocre. I'm going to stay in my comfort zone. I'm not going to show up fully for this desire, this light of my soul that is calling to me. And this is how we disempower ourselves. So remember, soul avoidant behavior is all about you avoiding your power. That is the light of your soul. And if you're getting stuck in spiritual realms, again, very well-meaning, spiritual, creative, gifted women, you're really good at the spiritual stuff. But when it comes to rise and shine, being visible, seen, and heard, making that money, growing a 6-figure business, it's not happening. And we have to get curious about that and ask ourselves why. Where am I not showing up fully in the body, in the physical, manifest reality? And that means taking powerful action steps, being bold, firm, and clear with what you want, and moving into right relationship with your power. That is what the light of the soul is asking you to do. So, lacking any clarity, motivation, drive, focus, determination, avoidance of the light of your soul, the avoidance of power. And if you don't show up for the body consistently, then this is a big reminder. And if you're struggling to speak up, use your voice, be visible, heard, self-expressed, again, soul avoidance. Because remember, the light of your soul wants to be seen. It wants to be visible. This is what the nature of the sun is. The nature of the sun is visibility. Just like every day, rise and shine. The sun rises and then it sets. But every day, that sun gets to shine. And there is a sun in you that wants to shine. And that means you have to show up for your power and say yes to this part of you that wants to be visible. So if you have big dreams and big desires in the material world and they are not happening, then we need to get curious about these soul avoidant tendencies. And this is also going to show up in your money, because money is a material manifestation of the spiritual. So let's be mindful of this. And it does require shadow work, and it does require grief work and ancestral work, and all the ways that we support transforming, clearing the pipes, the channels, so that you can receive more life force energy. And then there's space and a desire and a willingness to step fully into your power. And it's also about doing your work around power. What does power mean for you? What is the resistance or the fear of being powerful? And understanding that this resistance is also part of the path. This is the Rahu Ketu axis in your Jyotish chart, the attraction-repulsion dynamic. I want it, but I'm terrified of it at the same time. So when we look at the chart, we can see very clearly what is this part of you that really craves, deeply craves more power, more visibility, expressing the light of your soul on some unique level, because every path and every soul is completely different. Honoring that attraction-repulsion dynamic. I want it, but I'm terrified of it at the same time. So I'll give you a few questions to lean into. What is the worst possible form of power that you have experienced? Because there's a part of you that's saying, hell no, I will not be like that. And if that's what power is, I refuse. That's where your work begins. Think of the worst possible expression of someone in their toxic power. And that is the part of you that's saying no. At the same time, there's a gift in that. In that ick, in that misuse of power, that person gets to experience something that you're not experiencing right now. I think of this with the rich bitch or the whiny brat, the women who are really loud and annoying. And we don't want to be like that. But at the same time, they have a certain selfishness and a certain I don't care what anyone else thinks. And they're able to step into their power in a way that is absolutely toxic. But at the same time, if you had a fraction of that, things would shift for you. If you could be in right relationship with that icky power, what would that offer you or provide you? How might you be able to share your message, shine, be visible, be seen in a way that is more in right relationship with your own power? Another question to ask yourself is, when I step into my power and I am visible, expressive, seen, heard in my power, who doesn't like it? Who doesn't like this power? What rule do you break? Who's going to shame you? They could be living or they could be dead, and you're still in this battle with someone who has authority or power over you. Again, when we're talking about soul avoidant behavior, this is about you stepping into your power and being in right relationship with the light of your soul. This part of you that wants to be seen and heard, fully self-expressed, and nourished, content in this visibility. So, honoring any of the shadow, the shame, the guilt, the grief that shows up when you think about being in your power fully visible. The other place we want to look is with our heart. And this is the one that I hear from literally every client that I've worked with. And I would say that almost every woman that spiritual, gifted, sensitive, woman that I meet is truly afraid of being alone on some level if she steps into her power fully. That there is a belief, a conditioned belief based on our societal structures that have to do, with colonialism, misogyny, patriarchy, religious dogmas that have wired into us. If I am fully powerful and I'm owning my power, visible, self-expressed, seen, heard, and I'm making more money than my partner, then I'm going to be alone. They're not going to like it. Nobody's going to want to be with me. I'm going to lose relationships. I'm going to lose love on some level. And so we purposely, unconsciously deny and avoid our such, such powerful, creative intelligence hardwired into our body. We just keep covering it up and denying this power because there's some fear of more grief, a fear of loss, a loss of love, that you're going to lose your partner or a family member or children, or someone's not going to like it and you will lose love. And this is one thing that I really want to invite you to be mindful of and lean into in this soul avoidant behavior. We have to move closer to this fear in order to find a different relationship with it, to open up new energy pathways of receiving. And so if there's a part of you that is afraid that you're going to lose relationships or love if you are fully visible, expressive, standing in your truth and power, then that's a place that we need to really tend to the grief. And a reminder that all of this grief work around soul avoidance, it's ancestral. And if you're a contract worker, meaning the ancestors have hired you to do this work for the lineage, then we know we're going to be doing a lot of digesting and clearing of the pathways and the pipes, the inner pipes and the spiritual pipes, the ancestral pipes, so that you can open the channels of receiving more life force energy. And that's your money, that's your love, that's your power, that's your creativity, that's your passion, that's your charisma, that's all of this nourishment and contentment that your soul is craving on the material level. And that's why you're here. So I want to invite you to join me this weekend for my Raise Your Vibe event. 3 days. We're going to dive deeply into this clearing of the pipes, the ancestral grief, this resistance to your power and your money and your truth and your visibility, so that you can make space for the big dream and the big vision that your soul is craving. We'll do some jyotish so that you can really understand where the soul avoidance is living in your body and what to do to overcome this soul avoidance that is here. But also this is why you came to the planet, to overcome this, to transform it, to digest it, to awaken and shine the light of your soul in this world. That's what Dharma is. And in this time of Kali Yuga, it's the most important time for those of us who have dharmic work to do. And it's time to rise and shine. So we'll look at the clearing, the opening, the making space, the commitment and the declarations, owning this power. And then on day 3, it's all about your spiritual business and really taking the action steps, having the clear roadmap so that you can really bring this spiritual business, this dharmic business, into form and reach those financial goals that you have. Remember that Dharma is both an integration and a balance between the spiritual realms and the material realms. It's both. It's not one or the other. So if you've been hiding out in the spiritual realms, this is my reminder to you. I'm calling you out to call you in so that you can step into your power and your purpose more fully and have that contentment and that nourishment on both spiritual and material levels. And I'll be sharing even more with you about soul avoidance this week, steps that you can take. Join us in the Raise Your Vibe event. All you have to do is start your Soul Circle membership this week before the 24th. And I'm giving you a ridiculous discount this week, only $27. You can jump in and get access to all of these incredible resources in the Soul Circle. And you'll also get your ticket for the Raise Your Vibe event. I'll make sure to put a link in this video. All you have to do is click on my profile and start your Soul Circle membership. It's only $27. And so my question to you is, would it be worth it to you? After 3 days of diving deeply into your shadow, transforming your resistance to power, stepping more fully into your yes, being firmly rooted and committed in your offering, your gifts, your soul purpose, and then learning how to make money and create a six-figure business from it, would that be worth it to you for only $27? I hope you'll say yes, and I'll